Have you ever wondered why America cares so much about oil when it has plenty of its own? Because it was never about the oil. It's about who gets to decide how the world pays for it. Imagine if every store on the planet only accepted your currency. You'd never go broke. You'd never lose power. You could print money and the world would just absorb it. That's exactly what America set up 50 years ago. And right now, China is building its own checkout counter. But to understand how this house of cards is shaking, you need to look at the flashpoint happening right now. America and Iran are at war, and Iran is threatening to close the Strait of Hormuz, the single most important waterway on Earth. One narrow stretch of water, but 20% of the world's oil passes through it every single day. Close that, and the entire world economy starts choking. But here's where it gets interesting. Iran isn't just blocking the strait, they're offering a deal. Let the oil through, but only if you pay in Chinese yuan, not dollars, only yuan. And they're not alone. China has been quietly pushing the same agenda for years, convincing oil producers, one by one, to stop using the dollar. Saudi Arabia didn't renew its 50-year oil deal with America in 2024. UAE just left OPEC. Russia sells its oil in yuan. The dominoes are falling. So why does this matter to you? Because the system that's cracking right now is the exact same system that has kept America on top of the world for 50 years. And to understand this, you need to know how it was built in the first place. Back to 1971. America had a problem, a big one. For decades, the US dollar was backed by gold. Simple rule. Every dollar printed had actual gold sitting in a vault behind it. The world trusted the dollar because the dollar meant something real. But America had been spending hard. The Vietnam War, government programs, military bases across the world. The money was flying out faster than it was coming in. So Nixon made a decision that would change everything. He took the dollar off gold completely. And now the dollar was backed by nothing. Just trust. And the world panicked. Inflation exploded. The dollar started losing value. Other countries started asking the same question. If the dollar isn't backed by gold anymore, why are we even using it? America had no answer. But then, something happened that made everything worse. In 1973, Egypt and Syria launched a surprise attack on Israel, the Yom Kippur War. America backed Israel, and the Arab world was furious. Saudi Arabia and the Arab oil nations made a decision. If America supports Israel, we cut them off. No oil for America and its allies. Overnight, oil prices exploded, 4 times higher in just months. Americans were lining up at gas stations for hours. The economy was on its knees. America was bleeding from 2 wounds at the same time. A dollar that meant nothing, and oil it couldn't afford. Something had to give. And that's when Henry Kissinger walked into a room in Saudi Arabia and changed the world forever. Kissinger was America's most powerful diplomat, the kind of man who played chess 10 moves ahead. He flew to Saudi Arabia in secret, and he made Saudi Arabia an offer they couldn't refuse. The deal? You price your oil in US dollars. Only dollars. No exceptions. In return, America will buy your oil. America will protect you militarily. America will keep your royal family in power forever. Saudi Arabia said yes, and with that one handshake, the petrodollar was born. But here's what made it genius. Every country on Earth needs oil to run factories, to fuel cars, to heat homes, to move food across the world. And now, every single one of them needed dollars first to buy that oil, which means every country on Earth had to keep dollars in their banks, had to keep buying dollars, had to keep America's currency alive. The dollars that Saudi Arabia earned from selling oil, they didn't just sit there. They got reinvested right back into American banks, American bonds, and American weapons. America was essentially printing paper, and the whole world was sending real goods back in return. And because oil was priced in dollars, everything else followed. Gold priced in dollars, wheat priced in dollars, steel, copper, gas, medicine, all of it only priced in dollars. One deal, one secret meeting. And America had built the most powerful financial empire in human history without firing a single shot. Pretty smart, right? But here's the thing about empires. They don't last forever. And that's where America made its first mistake. America started using the dollar, not just as a currency, but as a weapon. Think about it. If every country needs dollars to survive, what happens if America decides to take those dollars away? You collapse. And America knew that, so they started doing exactly that. Iraq's Saddam Hussein announced he wanted to sell oil in euros instead of dollars. 2 years later, America invaded Iraq. Saddam was gone. Libya's Muammar Gaddafi had a bigger idea: a gold-backed African currency to replace the dollar across the entire continent. Within months, NATO was bombing Libya. Gaddafi was dead. Coincidence? Maybe. But the message was loud and clear. Challenge the dollar, and America will destroy you. And for a while, it worked. Nobody dared to move. But then came China. China didn't make threats or announcements. China just quietly started building an alternative. In 2018, China launched yuan-denominated oil futures on the Shanghai Exchange. Simple idea. You can now buy and sell oil in yuan. No dollars needed. At first, the world ignored it. But then Russia got hit with American sanctions after Ukraine war and got frozen out of the dollar system overnight. Suddenly, the Petroyuan wasn't just an idea, it was a lifeline. Russia started selling oil to China in yuan, then Iran, Venezuela, and UAE, but then came the move that shook the entire financial world. Saudi Arabia, America's oldest partner, the very country that started the petrodollar, quietly did not renew its 50-year agreement with America in 2024. No declaration. They just let it expire and started accepting yuan for oil from China. Meanwhile, BRICS nations started building their own financial systems, their own payment networks. The de-dollarization movement wasn't a conspiracy theory anymore. It was happening in real time. In 1999, the dollar made up 71% of all global foreign exchange reserves. Today, that number has dropped to 57%. That's not a small shift. That's $1 trillion migration away from America's currency. But here's the reality check. Because this is where a lot of people get carried away. The dollar is still the most dominant currency on Earth, by far. The yuan doesn't even come close. The euro doesn't even come close. 57% still means more than every other currency combined. The petrodollar isn't dead, but it's bleeding. And that's exactly what makes this a Cold War. No missiles, no bombs, just two superpowers. Moving money, cutting deals, building alliances, all trying to control the one thing that controls everything else: how the world pays for energy. America still has the most powerful financial system ever built, the deepest markets, the strongest institutions, decades of global trust. But China has something America didn't have in 1974: patience. China is playing a 100-year game, slowly signing deals, slowly building infrastructure, slowly making the yuan more attractive, and the world is watching. Some countries are hedging their bets, keeping dollars but quietly adding yuan. Some are moving fast, tired of American sanctions and financial pressure. And some are just waiting to see who wins. Nobody knows how this ends. Maybe the dollar adapts. Maybe China overplays its hand. Maybe something nobody expects changes everything. But one thing is certain. The world you were born into, where one country controlled global money through one currency, is quietly changing. And the decisions being made right now in Beijing, Riyadh, and in Washington, that will shape your life, your prices, your future. This isn't just geopolitics. This is the ground shifting beneath your feet, and most people have no idea it's even happening. Now you do.